I don't sit there and say, Prudence, summon forth temperance, that I may resist the temptation to have copious libations with the other men. This is Mike from Catholic Treehouse, and I'd like to welcome you to the Saint in Progress podcast, your source for inspiration, information, and directions for your soul's journey back home to the Father's house. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and most importantly, share the show. As a reminder, your financial support is how we keep the lights on in the treehouse. You can support us by buying a book or rosary from our store, or by becoming a paid subscriber on Substack. You can find more information on all these things at saintinprogress.com or catholictreehouse.com. Let's get started. Hello, fellow Saints in Progress. Welcome to episode 11 of the Saint in Progress podcast. This is Mike from Catholic Treehouse, and this week my goal is to not mess up the audio and make sure that I select the correct file when making the post. If I can accomplish that, then I'll consider it a success. So apologies to everyone who tuned in last week and started listening to episode 10 and said, this sounds just like episode 9. Well, that's because initially it was, and then I had to go and fix it. So I hope you all had a great week. Last week on Friday night, I got together with a group of men, mostly from my Knights of Columbus Council, and we do this Faith by Fireside thing once a month. We rotate hosts, and it's open to all the men of the parish, but generally it's about the same group of guys, and we're all Knights of Columbus. And it's a really informal affair. We start with a rosary, and then we get comfortable, maybe you pour a drink, and we sit around a fire and just talk about faith issues. Last week, the temperature in central Ohio was in the 20s, so while we've suffered together in temps down into the 40s, we were pretty happy to be inside. As always, the Holy Spirit blessed us, and we had a very fruitful discussion about a lot of different faith topics, and everyone there, as always, exercised the virtue of temperance when having a drink. So shout out to Tom for hosting, and another shout out to Bill, who I invited. He's a neighbor of mine who's an OCIA, and thanks to him, we had a great conversation on the topic of confession. So speaking of virtues and confession, that's a solid intro to today's topic, namely the virtue of prudence. So as we journey through life, as we head home to the Father's house, we can see the pitfalls of being imprudent, right? So Prudence says, change the oil in your car. And if you don't, well, bad things happen. Prudence says, pay your electric bill. And if you don't, bad things happen. Prudence says, go to the dentist about that painful tooth. And if you don't, well, bad things are going to happen, and then you're not going to like it very much. Prudence says, you need to drive. Don't get drunk. And if you don't listen to Prudence, well, bad things happen. So I have this handout from the school my kids go to. They have Dominican sisters teaching here, and they have this education and virtue program, which is really awesome. I can't recommend it enough. They've got a bunch of resources. Many of them are free and online, and I'll drop links in the show note post. So this handout that I have, it lists the main theological and cardinal virtues and gives examples and definitions in that. Well, if you remember in episode 7, we talked about how the cardinal virtues are our internal moral compass, right? Well, this handout defines prudence like this. Prudence is sound judgment. It enables one to reason and act rightly in any given situation. Prudence is right reason in action. Okay, that's a little stuffy. So we're going to unpack it and repack it so it's a little more actionable. I mean, I love Dominicans. I really do. We just celebrated the feast day of St. Thomas Aquinas on January 28th and all. And I do love the Summa. It's a really amazing resource. But my gosh, sometimes Dominicans are so clinical with things. I mean, brilliant for sure. I mean, they're theologians par excellence. But for most people, well, most people need things explained a little less clinically. So let's look at the examples that I gave above with the oil changes and all that, and try to repackage these things and understand how to exercise prudence in our daily life. Okay. So changing the oil in your car at regular intervals, that's easy. That's just looking at the manufacturer's recommendation and getting it done when it needs done. Prudence in action. But prudence serves another purpose. It's known as the driver of the other cardinal virtues. Sometimes it's depicted in artwork as 3 horses pulling a carriage, and the horses are named justice, courage, and temperance, and prudence is the guy holding the reins to the horses. So as we look at the examples, we'll see that and how that works. So when prudence tells you to pay your electric bill, it's a matter of justice. You use the electricity, so as a matter of justice, you pay the bill. Or else as a matter of justice, they turn off the electricity, right? So when prudence tells you to go to the dentist about that painful tooth, well, you probably already know that it's not going to be good news. You probably already know there's going to be a cavity or a root canal or whatever, and it's going to hurt and it's going to cost you a ton of money. But you need to draw upon courage and go and put up with the drilling and the final bill. And Prudence reminds you that you're driving, so you can't drink too much alcohol. It's calling upon temperance to moderate how much alcohol you drink, if any. So in the case of the Faith by Fireside the other night, I drove there with my neighbor Bill. We were there for 2 hours. I poured myself about a thumb's worth of bourbon to sip on, but I stopped there because I knew that I had to drive 2 hours later. So we can see how prudence drives these other virtues. And that's all well and good. But I'm about practical application here. I don't sit there and say, Prudence, summon forth temperance that I may resist the temptation to have copious libations with the other men. No, I don't do that. I don't think like that. Most people don't think like that. So I'm going to go back to St. Augustine here, one of our tour guides from episode 9. He has an awesome quote that if you memorize it, or even just paraphrase and get the general gist of it, you can apply it quickly and easily to everyday life to help you figure out how to use prudence to make good decisions. So if you remember, St. Augustine talked about two cities, right? The city of man and the city of God. And they were each built by two loves, love of self or love of God. So here's his quote about prudence. Prudence is love choosing wisely between things that help and things that hinder. So anything that hinders, that builds the city of man, which is the earthly city by the love of self, even to the contempt of God. That's how Augustine defined the city of man, right? Anything that hinders focuses you on yourself, and that makes you into your own little g God. Anything that helps, that builds the city of God, which again, from Augustine, he says, the heavenly by the love of God, even to the contempt of self. Anything that helps focuses you on God and neighbor, that elevates all your actions to actions of charity, which is the highest of virtues. So let's just look through a list of just a couple things here and some examples of hindering versus helping. So let's start with an easy one, pride. Love of yourself and your own self-importance. That hinders you, right? Pride points you to yourself. Well, humility, as we defined it, is knowing and accepting the truth about yourself and your state in life, both the good and the bad, not wanting anything more unless it's for the glory of God, love of neighbor, or your own sanctification. So we can see how pride is a hindrance and humility is the help. Pride also makes us selfish. Being selfish is a hindrance because you're loving yourself and your own self-importance, hence selfish, right? If you're selfless, you're doing things for other people, you're thinking about other people, you're actioning towards other people, that's pointing your love towards God and neighbor. If you're stubborn, that's because, again, you're loving yourself and your own self-importance. That's a hindrance because you want things your own way. Well, docility, which is another virtue, that means you're teachable. That's the help. Okay, being teachable points you towards love of God and love of neighbor. It also points you towards the love of your own sanctification, because if you're teachable, you take corrections in bad behavior. So another hindrance is words and deeds that divide. We do this all the time. We say things that divide us from other people. When we get cranky about other people and the way that they act and the way they behave and the things that they do. I do this all the time. And it's a trouble spot for me where I sit there and I have to really guard my mouth and my words. And I'm not great at it. This sends me to confession all the time, where I sit there and I'm just getting irritated by the way things are going. And I say things that fall under the various umbrella of gossip, like calumny, detraction, all the rest of that stuff. The help, prudence tells us, is words that unite, not divide. When out in public and speaking and everything else, and you're talking about other people and situations, prudence tells us to keep our mouths shut about things that divide people. Instead, say things that unite. Any kind of sin is a hindrance that keep us from God's grace. God's grace is our help, but pride and fear keep us from God's grace. And how does pride and fear keep us from God's grace? By avoiding confession. Fear and pride, those two things are the hindrance. The antidote is willing confession so that you can receive God's grace. Now, some people say, well, I don't need to go to confession. I'm a good person. Well, by whose judgment are you a good person? Your own judgment? So I hate to have to be the person who's the bucket of cold water here to ruin your day, but I'm going to be the bucket of cold water to ruin your day. If you're judging yourself, of course you're going to say you're a good person. But when you do that, you're being a little g God. You're a hindrance to yourself. You're dividing yourself from God's grace and mercy. Maybe you say, well, I confess to God in my heart. That's enough. So again, you make the rules on the manner in which people are supposed to confess sin. Hello again, little g God. Nice to meet you. Or maybe you say, well, I'm nervous. I'm afraid. I'm terrified of going to confession. It's been a long time. I've done a lot of sinning. Well, my friend, if that's the case, then think about who is doing the work of keeping you away from God's infinite ocean of mercy. That's right. Satan is. Satan is a huge hindrance. But Prudence is telling you, begging you, to go to confession and receive God's grace and mercy and return to his friendship. A good and thorough sacramental confession gives you the graces necessary to more and more easily avoid sin in the future. It strengthens the virtue of prudence in your life as it strengthens the other virtues. And who can't use more prudence in their life? So think about things in your life as you go through your day and make decisions. Ask yourself, does this hinder me on my trip home to the Father's house? Does this slow me down? Does this focus my love on myself and my own self-importance and self-glory? Or does this help me? Does this point me toward loving God and neighbor? Does this point me towards my own sanctification? And as you begin to think this way, you uncover certain patterns in your decision making. Maybe that pattern of the certain decisions that you make points towards a larger issue or bigger problem, pointing you towards your root sin that you needed to deal with. Maybe it's something you need to take to your spiritual director. So start to pray the Holy Spirit increases prudence within you. Make those good decisions. Choose wisely with love between things that help and things that hinder. So that's it for this week, my fellow saints in progress. As I mentioned last week, Catholic Treehouse has a new book by Kevin Lowry coming out within the next week. It's called Honor Thy Wife, and let me tell you something. He says to me, should I try to get some blurbs from some friends? I said, sure, that'd be great. So he sends the manuscript off to his friends, and these amazing reviews from his friends start coming back. From Father John Riccardo, Father Dave Pavanka, Mike Aquilina, and I'm like, man, that's a heck of a friend group. So anyway, it's a really, really great book. As with all Catholic Treehouse titles, we're making it beautiful. We're going to make it beautiful to your eyes, as well as the words that Kevin wrote are going to be beautiful to your heart and soul. So if you want to be notified when it's available, go to CatholicTreehouse.com, sign up for the newsletter. While you're there, take a look at the Saint in Progress t-shirts, and we have those in a bunch of colors if you want. And look at our other books. And, I was going to pitch the rosaries here and say, hey, check out our beautiful handmade rosaries. But on second thought, the Columbus Catholic Men's Conference is coming up at the end of February, and I'm busy making inventory for that. So for all the ones that sell on the website between now and then, I have to make additional ones so that I have stuff to sell at the men's conference. I'm going to be sitting there with this big rosary display and no rosaries to put in them. And since it takes me about an hour and a half to make each one, and since I can't go into Amazon Prime and order a box of more time in the day, I kind of need to conserve my inventory now so that I have stuff to sell at the men's conference. I know it sounds counterintuitive to be in business and saying, don't buy my stuff, but I'm saying just wait about a month. If you can do that for me, my fingers would greatly appreciate it. So thanks again for listening as always. I know I say this all the time, but tell your family and friends and coworkers and neighbors about the show. We are all saints in progress. You, me, them, everyone. Let's all get home together. So go out there, my friends, and be a saint.